There is a Maori proverb which says to utter the name is to invoke the presence. Or, to put it another way, to steal the name is to steal something precious, sir, from a family. And my heart goes out, sir, to the family where this crime of identity theft, sir, they may not like it, of course, they treat it with disrespect, perpetrated by a representative in this House, sir, covered up by a Minister of the Crown, sir, and protected by the highest office holder who holds a seat in this chamber, sir, as of today, the Prime Minister, protected by him, sir. Does anybody believe, sir, as the Prime Minister wrapped his arms around Mr Hyde, does anybody believe that Mr Hyde, Rodney Philip Hyde, sir, his story, that he didn't know the detail about Mr Garrett's crime, sir? That he didn't know the detail that Mr Garrett stole a dead baby's identity? That he did not know, sir, that there was a permanent suppression order? Those facts, sir, the argument that he did not know is false. And the falsehood lies in this, sir. Mr Hyde covered it up. The only reason Mr Hyde covered it up, sir, is because there was a permanent suppression order in place. If there was not a permanent suppression order in place, he would have said to Mr Garrett, "You will not be a Member of Parliament Act." Well, he might have. And I suspect Garth McVicker, to use Mr Quinn's term, who Mr McVicker stands charged as a hypocrite today because he aided and abetted a man getting off a conviction with a reference, aided and abetted a man to get permanent name suppression, and as Phil Goff said, I wonder if Garth McVicker or David Garrett or Rodney Hyde complicit in all this, sir.
Paul Quinn.
I'm a bit confused because I understand the Speaker is accusing me of aiding and abetting.
Order. Members know that's not a point of order. If the member is concerned about something a member speaking in a debate says, they can make the next call. National Party has further calls. Sorry, I apologise, Honourable Kate.
Aided and abetted, sir, by Rodney Hyde. Aided and abetted. Did either of those gentlemen, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, Hyde, Garrett, McVicker, ever consider that in putting in place and assisting and standing up for permanent name suppression, which they all railed against in public, that they gagged the 93-year-old woman, her family, from ever speaking out on this crime, and tortured that family day after day, year after year, as that 93-year-old woman had to watch Mr Hyde, Mr McVicker and Mr Garrett gallop around the country calling for zero tolerance, railing against suppression orders. And here's what Mr McVicker said, very interesting, because he stands charged with utter hypocrisy. He said this on the 13th of January 2007, quote, "We are here for the victims, a voice for them." Well, I say to Mr McVicker, has he rung up the 93-year-old woman and asked her to join the sensible sentencing club that no one wants to be a member of, to quote him, given that she is a victim at his hands, at his best mate hands, covered up by Mr Hyde and protected by the Prime Minister? Mr McVicker says this, the public, quote, "The public are sick of watching as well-known defendants appear to use their position to get lighter sentences." He says this, sir, also on the 15th of December 2007, quote, "If a role model goes off the tracks, the court should be sending a deterrent message." Well, I wonder what Mr McVicker says today, and the Sensible Sentencing Trust think of him, as he never revealed the fact that he gave a character reference to get Mr Garrett off a conviction and to provide an excuse and a character reference for permanent name suppression. I wonder what he says to the Sensible Sentencing Trust. He sent me an email the night of the 3 strikes legislation, reminding me, he said, that he stands up for victims. Well, he stands accused of hypocrisy, and I say, I invite him to go and meet those victims. I invite him to reconvene the victims' conference he had in this Parliament, sir, and explain himself to them, because he still wraps his arms around Mr Garrett. I look at Mr Hyde's statement, sir, a man whose truthfulness and factual statements are all over the place. On the 15th of September, he told One Network News the fake ID was a prank. Later, on Close-Up, he was asked, did he say it was a prank? He said, no, it's horrific. On the 15th of September, Mr Hyde, Rodney Philip Hyde, tells Close-Up that he knew the circumstances of this case before Mr Garrett became a candidate. Yet on we go. He reiterated that in the New Zealand Herald on the 15th of September. But on the 17th of September, sir, he says to Mr Garner, Mr Hyde has said he couldn't remember if Garrett told him he had stolen a dead infant's identity. Quote, I don't know what level of detail he gave. I say to the Prime Minister, defend a man who does not know how to spell the word truth.
Order. The Honourable